Hello and welcome. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today we're going to be going over the Ret Paladin Mage Tower and giving you a sort of look on how the fight is handled. This isn't your normal sort of guide. This isn't, talents, consumes, how to handle certain situations. This is going through the entire fight and giving my reasons and my thought process on how to actually handle the fight in different situations and what it looks like as a whole. So I'm going to be going through the entire fight and showing you and giving you my thoughts on what I was thinking during the fight and how I handled it. So obviously this is the Gog Queen Fight. So you start off with 3 mobs and all of them have different abilities. At the very start you want to pop everything, kick the Rune Seer just to make sure that he comes with you so that you can cleave all of them down. Now you want to be using Divine Storm as your main damaging ability in this, mainly because they share a health pool, so the more AoE damage that you can bring, the better. I do want to say very first, if the quality does go bad, it's just because there's a lot of stuff on the screen, so I do apologise for that, and it does go in and out. I do apologise, but that'll be fixed for the next guides and stuff. But the first ability that you'll deal with is Jarl. He'll just enrage, and he'll walk a bit slower, but he will hit like a truck. You just kite him, hammer of justice him, nice and easy. The next are the runes, so 3 runes will spawn. You just run around and collect them. During the second set of runes, Sigrun will cast the Blood of the Father. Now, ideally, you want to repentance this before she gets the cast off. If you get the cast of repentance off before she gets her cast off, you can break the repentance immediately and start to cleave them down. If she beat you to the cast, you repentance her and you leave the repentance on her. You do not break it until that buff that she has put on herself goes. Now, ideally, you want the repentance first because you can break the repentance, like I said, and this is a big area where you can cleave all 3 of them because there's a lot of downtime. The next ability that you see is the Ancestral Knowledge. This one's very simple. You break the shield and you kick him. Very simple. This I found was really useful in these instances. It is a trinket here. You might not be able to see it behind that, but it is an Emerald Nightmare trinket. It is from the very first boss, Nithendra, and it just made this particular fight a lot easier because you're cleaving multiple targets and it's an AoE pool on the floor, as well as bursting through the shield in these instances. It's a 1-minute cooldown and makes it very, very useful for this fight. You don't necessarily need it for this fight, and you can do it in all Shadowlands gear, but I would recommend it. Just gives you a lot easier of a time. So I wait till the last second to kick this, and the Dark Valkyries, you just got to keep an eye out for them. They will hurt. They can't one-shot you if you're 100%, but if you do get hit and you are 100%, just make sure that you top yourself up immediately. The next one is Bladestorm. Hodge it immediately and he will not do anything. He'll just stand there for a bit after. Again, the Blood of the Father, you want to repentance before she even finishes the cast. That way you can keep cleaving her and get the most uptime on her as possible. But once again, if she gets the cast off before you, you can just leave her in the repentance. The runes are very simple. You just collect all of them and then watch out for the Valkyries. Again, runes, you can use Cavaliers at your disposal. I tend to always keep one Cavalier as a oh shit button. I need to relocate or something. He will pop his shield again, and this times up nicely with my trinket here. So I pop it on the floor. You can see that green. The darker green, that is my circle, and that is what is dealing a lot of damage to them. Again, just watch out for the Valkyries. I got really lucky here with the positioning of it. Here I actually panicked because I wanted to kick him late, but I got kicked away, so I had to Cavalier back in. That was the oh shit Cavalier that I wouldn't have had if I used a Cavalier for each rune set. And then it's just a nice cleave until your next abilities, which is the Berserkers Rage. This one, I found it was better just to kite him. Doesn't matter if you get a little bit of downtime on the bosses, it's better just to kite him here. You don't want to use Hammer of Justice, and that will help you in the next phase. If he hits you a bit, it's fine. You can top yourself up. You can word of glory. You can do all of that. Just make sure that you don't use Hammer of Justice here. You saw me get hit by the Dark Valkyrie. Again, it's nothing too big. I dropped quite a bit, but I didn't die. And the reason that I wanted to hold Hammer of Justice here is because he will cast Blade Storm next as she is casting Blood of the Father. So ideally, I did this the wrong way round, but you want to Repentance her first and then Hodge Jarl. This way you get the Repentance off before she gets her cast, and you can cleave them all down afterwards. But I hodged him first and then Repentance Blood of the Father. So I'll keep her in this Repentance and I'll just cleave these two down at the same time. Now here, I chose to keep her in a Repentance for a very long time because there's something in this fight towards the end that gets very messy. You just want to keep an eye out for the Valkyries. But I know that later on in the fight, stuff gets really intense and all three of them start to pop their abilities at the same time. So you just want to chill out and not necessarily hit them. Or you don't want to break Sigrun out. You can keep her in that Repentance, but if you're too slow in killing, she will be immune to the Repentance because of diminishing returns. So just keep that in mind if you don't have the damage to sort of burst Jarl and Runeseer down yet. So here, she empowers everyone and you just want to burst the shield. At this point, you want to AoE as much as you can because you want Jarl to die as well. Because he, or this next part, will be the trickiest part. After the shield, the Valkyrie charge, and then all three of them are empowered. So all three of them are casting their abilities right now. You got Blood of the Father, you got the Berserker Rage, which you have to kite, and you've got Runeseer, who's in his bubble again. Now, the very and most important thing that you need to do in this instance, I've failed and wiped at this part many times because I tried it so many times to do it in different orders. But it's Repentant Sigrun first to make sure that this does not go off. If this cast goes off, it makes this phase so much tougher, it's unreal. So you want this, you want Sigrun Repentance before anything else. Again, you can tank some of the Berserker Rage. You can immune his blast, but this needs to be stopped immediately. So I'll Repentance her first, and then break it, and then I will bop his Berserker Rage so that I can cleave them all down and break this bubble, because I don't need to worry about kiting Jarl, and I can cleave them all down and Jarl will die in this phase as well. See, he hits pretty hard, but I just stick to it. I pop my shield, I just kite a little bit to get some heals, and then we can look to kill Jarl, finish him off, and then it's only two people that we need to deal with. Again, they cast at the exact same time. It will be Repentance first, so that you can cleave both of them down with the shield active. So Repentance gets cast, I break it immediately, and I look to break the shield that is on him. Now, ideally, you want to use Divine Storm here, but if you feel like you're not going to get the damage off on Runeseer, then use Templar's Verdict on him specifically. I drop the Trinket down to get as much damage on this as possible, on him and Sigrun, because I'm looking to burst them down now. And he pops another shield. I think it's just back to back, he constantly does this. But you're looking to just burst through these shields constantly and do as much as you can. During that, she casts a Blood of the Father. Again, I will cast Repentance before she gets that cast off. That is the biggest thing in this fight that won me this fight. And I didn't realise at first, I thought she got the cast off. So I still haven't broken this Repentance. But I realised, I think, within the next couple seconds. And I break the Repentance so that I can cleave them. Yeah, there you go. So that's sort of the downtime. And that's the fight. I don't know why it stopped, because I thought I had to kill Runeseer. But it's when she gets to a certain % of health, I believe. But it's very... It can overwhelm you right at the end. but you need to not let it. You need to just realize that you've got a lot of cooldowns to use in that instance, and it's best to use them. So the toughest one will be when all three of them are up, and you have to Repentance Sigrun first and kill the shield at the same time. This is where I found Bop to be the most useful, because Bop is physical damage, and if you feel like you can kill the shield that Runeseer has, then Bop is your go-to. If you feel like you can't kill the shield that Runeseer has, then you need to Divine Shield right at the very end. But you need to get as much uptime on Jarl as possible, because if he's still alive, when these two next pop their abilities, he will also pop a Blade Storm. So you want only 2 abilities going off rather than 3, which makes sense. But again, if I didn't have enough damage to break a shield, I was ready to press my Divine Shield. I had Wings that just came off cooldown as the fight ended. I had Trinket. I had so much damage to break his next shield. It would have been fine. It's just keeping a cool head in the tougher situations, and it won't get much tougher than right at the end when all of them pop their abilities. It will not get tougher than that. It's very straightforward in terms of when they use their abilities and when it's going to pop. Pretty much it's always at the same time. You know when the downtime is to pop a lot of cleave and stuff like that, to pop your wings. It becomes very routine almost, the fight. It's just at the end, it can overwhelm you with all of the different abilities that are going off. You just need to know that Sigrun is the most important to get first, because that way you can get as much uptime as possible. The other two you can deal with bubbles and bops, okay? But if Sigrun gets her Blood of the Father off, it's very tough to recover from it, because you might accidentally cleave her. You get a lot of downtime in that window, and Jarl isn't taking as much damage because you're not cleaving Sigrun, you're cleaving Runeseer and Jarl, and Runeseer isn't actually taking HP damage, he's taking shield damage. So the Repentance is the biggest thing in that instance when all 3 of them are casting their abilities. This is me just saying, why did I do this fight? Because Runeseer is still alive. That's me just wondering, like, what is happening, pretty much. It's very weird. But that is the Ret Paladin fight. I hope this guide really helps you, and I really hope that, you know, it's a different type of guide that isn't out there, and it can help a lot of people, because a lot of people learn visually through watching the fight itself and how people deal with certain mechanics. So I really hope this helps you, and this is actually really nice. This is leading into the outro. But thank you all very much for watching. Good luck in the Mage Tower. I hope you get it. Take care all, and peace.